Good afternoon and welcome to You and Your Business with me, Alec, on 103.2 Dublin City FM. Each week, I invite an expert from the world of business to share their knowledge, insights and tips to help you with your business challenges. If there's a topic you would like covered or if you feel you can make a contribution, please email me at yourbusiness@dublincityfm.ie and perhaps we'll be having a chat here one day soon. I'm delighted to welcome back my guest today, who was with us last October, and there's a reason for it which become evident throughout the show. He is the Managing Director of FrameFX, a framing company established more than 30 years ago. He has created an homage to James Joyce with his book Sirens in Bloom, a collaboration with the well-known photographer Tom Lawlor, and I can tell you he's a passionate dub. I'm delighted to welcome back Leo O'Connor to the You and Your Business studio. Hiya, Leo.
Not too bad, Alec. Thank you very much. Good to see you again.
Yeah, we were just talking about the gremlins getting in on it. Yeah. It's already started, James Joyce, but we'll come to that in a minute, and that's hence the reason you're on. Just to remind our listeners about, as you know, I take people back to their last sort of days in school. So we're going to have a quick flash through. People can go back to last October to get the full interview of that side of the business. But yeah, just remind people of what you did when you sort of came out of school.
Well, initially I did my leaving cert back in 1976, so it's just quite a while back. And I wasn't, like a lot of people, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. I did my hobby at the time was, and still is, photography, and my parents and family father in particular had taken this around Ireland quite a lot on a very regular basis. So I had a passion for Ireland as well, which I still have. And but in pursuing something, when I left school, I got a job in the camera centre, Grafton Street, because that fitted in with my hobby, and I enjoyed working there. And from there, that was in '76. So in late '77, I moved from there to Fujifilm in Ireland, and I was with them then for 15 years. I went to the College of Marketing, as it was called at the time, in Rathmines to do marketing, diploma marketing, a part-time course which I completed there. And that's what I did up till 1992 when I left Fuji and set up the picture framing business that I now have. So we're here over 30 years, and we have a gallery business and so on. So that's where I am. Yeah.
It's testament to yourself. Like, we don't see so many people these days who will spend the same amount of time in a particular sector. So, your father was touring Ireland, taking pictures here, there, and everywhere, obviously, and cataloging them. So your passion, I would presume, came from there. But interesting that you followed in the footsteps and have always kept that passion.
Yeah, it's the passion for Ireland most definitely came from there. In my early teens, I joined an OIGA, as a lot of us did, the hostel organisation, which is pretty much gone now, I think. And they had the hostel scattered throughout the country. So my passion for walking, which I still have, is came from there. And that works hand in hand with photography. It goes without saying. We don't always have the weather in here, this country, for particular types of photography, but you get used to that. And I learned from a very early age that well-known phrase: "There's no such thing as bad weather, just bad clothing." Where it definitely affects the type of photograph that you're seeking to achieve. But yeah, so yeah, it's still in the same sector pretty much. So still photograph related, but I enjoy it. I love what I do, and even my years in Fuji were great. I rose to say the marketing manager in there, and I've a couple of people I still keep in touch with from that time. So
it must be very nice to have a passion for something and to be able to enjoy it in the course of creating not alone a business, but your whole life has been around it, and dovetails very nicely into your joy of walking.
Yeah, it is. I consider myself lucky in that regard. It doesn't feel, obviously it's, I'm self-employed, it's the job and so on, but I love it. So that makes it. I can safely say I have never come into work and thought, geez, I have to work today, or there's this going on or that going on. I just enjoy it. And like everybody in business, you've got your ups and downs and your trials and tribulations and your success and so on. But it's the underlining in all of that is that I love what I do, and I'm very lucky to have that.
Well, as you know, they say if you can turn a hobby into a business, you will never work a day in your life.
Yeah, that's right. I would certainly concur with that. No, I wouldn't say it too loud.
But no, it's lovely. I mean, it's great to meet somebody. I'm a great believer in it myself. You know, too
Yeah,
many people get stuck in places and in a rut and just spend their whole life dying slowly. You know,
yeah,
terrible.
exactly. No, it's horrible. Yeah, terrible,
Yeah.
terrible.
I mean, let's just talk about photography for a few minutes because things have changed. I mean, your father, I would imagine, if he was such an avid photographer, would have been cataloging photographs, you know, dates and places and things where it's he's creating a visual record of the lives of his family.
He has indeed. I mean, and like he's no longer with us. You know, we lost my mother recently, but he has done exactly that. He didn't just go off and take pictures and get them developed as we all did at the time. Everybody got them printed. He put them into albums. So he
Mm.
was always buying albums, and he has the albums in like a serious amount of them. And every picture in it is labeled with some description and some date, and some of them with just some comments. So
Right.
he's done all that, which is fantastic for us now, because it's not something you see anymore. Even photographs taken today tend to be on phones or and downloaded, but they tend not to be catalogued or put into sections, or unless it's the professional photographer or something. But people like yourselves who just like to take some pictures and who travel quite a bit, they're pretty well lost. It's completely different. So yeah, where they go from there is another issue, but it's great to look back on them. They're all printed there. It really is.
There's something strange in the sense that our ability to take photographs instantly with very good quality cameras that are also known as phones
Yeah,
has turned the industry upside down in the sense of no, we don't print them out, we don't catalog them, and so those memories are on a phone and lost and possibly will never be seen by anybody,
yeah,
bar those who instantly see it, and then maybe those reminders that pop up through the various apps.
yeah. It's very true. I mean, I was recently at a wedding. My godson son was married, and I knew quite a few people at the wedding, obviously. And but the amount of pictures that I got WhatsApped to me, and I was taking pictures myself, and that's the way it's done now. Like everybody was WhatsApping the pictures they'd taken. The file
Right.
comes in with 50 or 60 pictures on it from somebody that I knew, because I might be in a couple of the pictures, and that's what they do. That's what everybody does now. They just send all of these files of pictures,
Mm.
and
Well,
they're looked at, but that's it.
and they're lost into the ether.
Totally, totally. So yeah, but it's the same could be said of some other industries as well. Books, for example, I read a lot. I'm an avid reader, but I read a book. I can't read it from a screen, and it's just I have to have the book in my hand.
Sure.
But then I'm off that generation, you know. So so
Yeah,
it's
I no, it's horses for courses. But
yeah,
I think what we're discovering is as generations progress, they're losing certain aspects of things that they will not appreciate until later in their life.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so we'll do
yeah.
that.
So
But let's sort of move the conversation on. Let's talk about Solaire, which is the other business, just for a moment, just so our
yeah,
audience have a picture. I mean, FrameFX has been there for over 30 years, so that fits very nicely into your whole photography side, and then you helping other artists and people who take photographs,
yeah.
and capturing sort of moments in their life and being able to display them in a nice way in their homes or in business. So what about Solaire? Let's just talk about that for a minute.
Well, Solaire is the gallery end of the business, as I would call it. It is a separate entity now, but I've always had a gallery in the business in FrameFX.
Sure.
And most of the images that I would have sold over the years would have been images I've taken myself. Um, but I also, as you would imagine, I frame for other photographers and artists, and I frame for amateur photographers and artists. And I also, as I mentioned a couple of times, have a big passion for Ireland itself. I love traveling it, and I travel. I spend at least 2 days a month, every month, somewhere in Ireland, walking and taking pictures, and I do that all the time. Um, and so I wanted to put together the gallery that was just exclusively Irish, but
Right.
I didn't want. I wanted to be modern Ireland because that's what I love,
Yes.
and I wanted, or when it's modern, at least in my lifetime. So that in terms of memories and things, but and also so I worked on this for quite a long time, and I worked on it with some other people to put together a gallery that we could do that with. Stulair is an abbreviation of Stulairin, so it means Ireland's eye.
Right.
And we got I got that registered branded, properly branded by a graphic designer and so on and so on, and the website built from scratch. But it also enables me, apart from my own work in there, I have some photographers in there and artists as well who are Irish and producing Irish images. So the product that's available is in different sections of Irish, good sport, music, landscape, rural, cities, some culture, etc. And it also enables me to help some photographers and artists who I've known a long time, who I think do beautiful work,
Yes, of
but
course.
they don't have it on the site themselves, so we can promote that for them as well. And there are a couple of well-known photographers there as well,
Sure.
namely Tom Lawlor, who's very well known, and Colin Henry, who would have been well known for photographing Irish music over the years. So I have a platform for their work now as well. So that's it, and it's as I said, it means Ireland's eye, but it's just another passion I have. And I
Okay.
can't go on and on about it, so I'm conscious of that with you as well.
No, you're okay. Just let me just say to anybody who's just joining us now, you're listening to You and Your Business with me, Alec, on 103.2 Dublin City FM, where my guest today is Leo O'Connor, and we're just talking about the gallery. But I think it's very important because you're doing two things with that gallery. Number one is you're capturing part of Irish history, up and down, but also in an art form as well that people now have access to. And I presume there's a lot of interest in that.
Yeah, exactly. There is indeed, and having FrameFX there to produce the product as well, that it works hand in hand with them as well. So because most of what we send out is framed, and we're delivering around the world. So the product is available. It goes out of here in gift boxes, and to anywhere in the world. Simple as that. I this morning we sent a couple of them to one to New Jersey and one to Chicago, and both of them were Irish. Those in that case they're Irish music pictures, but it's it's great. It's a piece of Ireland, and that's right. Like, it was asked at the very beginning by the people who built the site and the design, what was I trying to achieve, and I just, off the top of my head, I just said, like, I want to send a piece of Ireland to as many places around the world as I possibly can. And they've actually used that on the site, but that just came off my head at that point.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's genuinely what I believe.
Yeah, but don't dismiss that, because there's a couple of things have happened here, and I think it's well worth listening for entrepreneurs who are out listening to this show. A couple of things. Number one is somebody's found a passion for something that they really enjoy, and now have found a way of turning it into a business. So there's two ways. Number one is the framing side of the business, which would possibly be the obvious side, but the other side of it, sort of working in collaboration with other artists and that who take photographs of Ireland, which you're very passionate about, and now being able to send it across the world. And more importantly, your mission to send a piece of Ireland around the world.
A piece of Irish art. Yeah, piece of art.
Irish art, exactly. Irish art around the world.
Exactly.
That dovetails very nicely into your mission.
Yeah.
There we go. Gosh, you have a mission in your business that most people don't have. But we're coming up to a time in the year that you have a particular passion for. And that was the sort of catalyst for you creating something special. And COVID was the starting point of that. Take us through what happened. You're in COVID, you're locked down, you're going to have to do something. What's going through your mind?
The project itself started off as a COVID project. It's something completely different now, but it started off that way. And it was a chance meeting I had on Zoom with the director of the James Joyce Centre. Her name is Darina Gallagher, and she came to visit BNI, the chapter that I'm in. And from there we got together, obviously not close together in COVID, but we had a conversation, and she particularly liked Stulair, and I was one of these frustrated people who had tried several times to read Ulysses. I've read other Joyce products, but Ulysses just got thrown against the wall at some point, somewhere along the many times I tried to read it. Now I have read it since, and I've just completed it for a second time. Right. But we got talking. But anyway, long story short, we got talking about possibly doing this is 2019 to 2020, about when we're looking at the 100th anniversary of Ulysses and seeing, could we do something? could Sulair do something because of its Irish basis and its product Irish to do that they could use as part of the as an online exhibition, let's say, as the part of the celebration of the 100th anniversary of Ulysses,
Yes,
which
of
was
course,
last year. So that's where it started, online, and I wasn't sure what way we could do that. We considered routes through Ulysses, some of the roads, buildings, the buildings are still there, etc., etc. But to come on, I decided I would call Tom Lawlor, who's a lifelong friend of mine,
Yes.
a very well Dublin photographer. And I told him the conversation I'd had with Darina Gallagher, and the two of us met up and we had a chat about it, and we came away from that meeting having decided that we will do something with some of the characters in Ulysses.
Right. So, I mean, the typical thing has been done in the past that people go on a walk through Dublin to the various places mentioned in Ulysses.
Yeah, so that was done. That was so. But this we decided we would just go on the characters, and the more we talked about it, the more we felt we should just we should follow some of the female characters.
All right.
So and because that hadn't been done before by anybody apart from the main character Molly Bloom herself. So that's what we got talking about. And bear in mind, this is still just for an online exhibition.
Yes. Of course.
So my only Tom would go and have a look at Ulysses. He'll select some of the characters. We'll have a look at that. And my only instruction to him was that Sulair is all about modern Ireland. So I would like the characters in Ulysses represented in the modern Dublin.
All right. Yeah. Okay. It's nice.
And
nice.
that's So that's what we did. We followed that path. I went back to Darina Gallagher when I had a half dozen pictures or so, and showed them to her, and she was absolutely blown away. She wasn't. Her exact words were, she wasn't expecting anything of the level of quality that these are.
Right.
And they really are. So that's how that started. As things moved on and COVID's, things started opening up again, we thought, well, we can do something more with this.
Yes, of course.
So we now have we've a traveling exhibition. It's part of the exhibition is also in the James Joyce Centre, and it's part of the this year's Blooms Week, which is next week. The 16th is Blooms Day, but everything starts.
Blooms, yeah.
Everything starts on the 10th of June.
Right.
So, but we are officially listed as one of the events. The exhibition is one of the events in the James Joyce Centre. But more to that as well. In the course of doing this, I thought there's a book here.
Right.
And so I had a look at that, and then with Tom and Darina wrote the forward for the book. And superb graphic designer Connor, Connor Gallagher, and we just got together, put a plan together to produce the book.
Project.
Yeah, we made it a project, exactly, and there was a really good team on it, and the emphasis was on quality first of all, but also I insisted everything has to be done in Dublin. So this is going to be a book inspired by the women, by James Joyce's women, the women in Ulysses. Staged and photographed in the modern Dublin, and the quote that Tom used. Sorry,
we'll talk about that in a second. In case people are joining us now, you're listening to You and Your Business with me, Alec Drew, on 103.2 Dublin City FM. Where my guest today is Leo O'Connor, and we're just talking about this fantastic project, and James Joyce, and we're coming up to this Blooms Week and the celebration of Ulysses. So we're just talking about the project you created with the book with Tom Lawlor and with Darina, and it's all being produced in Dublin. Yeah, everything.
That I insisted on that, and the end result is absolutely fantastic. Anybody who's seen it just thinks it's beautiful. It's been featured in the newspaper, print, and some radio programs and so on, and like your own and some others, and it's really got great press. In fact, I googled it recently just to have a look, and I was amazed at how much coverage that is receiving. It's also made some noise abroad as well, like some of the papers in New York covered it, and a few other areas, and there are plans to hopefully win the exhibition there next year, but that's another day's work.
Project.
Yeah, so they think and travel, at this point that we're in. The book is selling quite well. It's selling in the James Joyce Centre and a couple of others, and it's available online. And we've had a number of different evenings, lunch evenings, that kind of thing when we did that. So it's called Sirens in Bloom. So that's Sirens as in Sirens in Bloom. Bloom is the main character in Ulysses, Leopold and Molly. And Sirens is one of the chapters, which is based in the Ormond Hotel, that particular chapter. And that's where we are. So now there's a full exhibition there. It's currently at the moment in the James Joyce Centre. It has already run in the GPO. It's run in the Botanic Gardens. It was in the atrium in Mullingar. The main cover picture was taken in Mullingar because it depicts the particular Molly and Leopold's daughter, who in the book is working in Mullingar. You must remember as well that the whole Ulysses is a very big book.
Yes.
It's not the easiest book to read. As I said, I've just read it for the second time, but it's all based on one day.
Yes.
Which is why the 16th of June is Bloom's Day, because it's based in 16th of June 2004. Sorry, 1904.
Yeah, a bit longer than that.
Yeah, 1904. It was published in 1922 for the first time, so it's based in 1904. But the whole thing is in one day.
But it's a big event throughout the world.
Oh, it's huge, because the amount of people that have reached out, or people that, and it's fantastic. There's a Joycean community out there that is huge. And lots of people there who want to help me do something with the book somewhere else in the world. I've got to spend time on that, which I will do. And it's the time that, like, the book is timeless. It's not, it's dated, or it comes out and it's gone. It's a large photographic book. The quotes that inspired each of the pictures are left-hand side of the picture. There's the forwards has been written by Darina Gallagher, and she did a really good job on that too.
Sure.
And it's been very well received as a very high quality Irish product, and for me a very high quality Irish Dublin product, because it needed to come.
That's your passion, and you've done that. I mean, you're exporting that all over the world too, and it is a coffee table size book. So I mean, it's certainly a beautiful corporate gift, and certainly, you know, every library should have one.
Yeah, it is, and we got. I mean, speaking of libraries, the British Library reached out to us for copies for the British, Scottish, Welsh. They wanted Trinity College, Oxford, the various different universities just asked us for a copy of it. So that was quite quick actually for such an early publication, and it reached that audience. It's look, I can go on about it all day.
I know you can.
It's a very high quality product. It was printed in Dublin, which is very important to me, and the printers did a really good job on it as well. And they're based here in Glasnevin. So it's great start to finish Dublin product and project, and really proud of it.
Yeah, and I can hear that in you. Just for our listeners, tell them where they can find copies of that if they want to purchase something.
Okay, in terms of it's available online at sirensandbloom.ie. So that's all one word, sirensandbloom.ie. It's also available through the James Joyce Centre, their website. If you go on there, you'll see Sirens and Bloom. You just click on it. That's pretty much the main. It wasn't produced to sell generally through shops, because we put it out ourselves. Soulair, we published it ourselves. So it would be considerably more expensive for it to be distributed through the retail end. But it is available at some independent shops now, which it is. The Winding Stair and Bachelor's Walk has it, and there's a few other places have it.
Yeah, no, and I mean, it's a fantastic production. I have seen it myself. You know, as we approach Bloom's Week, well, we are, when the show comes out, we will be in Bloom's Week.
Yeah.
You've obviously celebrated this every year. What are your thoughts about it, and what do you think people should be thinking about?
In terms of where to go in Bloom's Week?
Well, yes, or how they might celebrate it best, or if you were to give somebody who doesn't have a whole day to take out, what might they do?
Yeah, well, there's events every day, so if you go on to, I suggest you go on to James Joyce Centre website, and in that there's loads of activities for Bloom's Week itself, so you'll find something there that may only take a half an hour, or something that takes half a day, because there's something on every day starting this Saturday, the 10th of June. I'm going to a couple of things in Bewley's, which is Monday and Tuesday of next week, which have the lunchtime plays. So they're staging a couple of Bloom's things there. But I'll be doing something most days, and then I'm in on Bloom's Day itself. I'll be in the James Joyce Centre all day promoting the book there. So there's an enormous amount of people pass through the centre on Bloomsday itself, as you see them around the city, because a lot of them dress up for the occasion.
Yes, I think it's
yeah, a place like Davy Bourne's and other place like that, like run as something every year, because these places I mentioned in the book be the same with Sandy Cove, because the book starts in Sandy Cove and the Martello Terra there, and there's just so many places. It's actually been said that if Dublin would disappeared overnight, you could literally build it again from Ulysses. Because a lot of the places are still there, and the whole thing is described the whole way through the book.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic, and it's lovely to see some Dublin heritage being remembered so fondly and so internationally.
Exactly, yeah, absolutely. And there's like the James Joyce Centre is very close to city centre. It's in Great George Street there, and it's a beautiful building.
Yes.
So even just to go and look at the building is it's wardrobe. But there's a number of exhibitions going on in there and lots of information in there too, including our own.
Including your own. But it looks like you're going to be very busy for the next week. I suppose in about less than a minute we've left. Just tell people again, remind people of where they can find out more about Sirens in Bloom and about yourself.
Okay, well, sirensinbloom.ie is the website for Sirens in Bloom, and the information is on there about myself. It's also there about Tom Lawlor. You could Google Tom Lawlor himself as well. Like there's a massive amount of stuff there from him, and that or through the James Joyce Centre, because they're the places really that we're all linked to, and that's that would cover all that. Absolutely,
that covers everything. Well, listen, thanks very much, Leo.
No, thank you, Alec. I appreciate this. Thank you.
Coming into the You in Your Business studio. Thanks also to Sam on Sound. The podcast today's show will be available on dublincityfm.ie from tomorrow. Thank you for your company, and please remember to join me, Alec Drew, again next week at the same time, 1 o'clock, right here on 103.2 Dublin City FM for another edition of You in Your Business.